Hey everybody, welcome to Lore Friday for December 11th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Galabond. So after exploring the four temples of elemental evil, the intrepid adventurers, Wally the Wizard, Fred the Fighter, Rachel the Rogue, Connie the Cleric, they found that there were deeper levels still below what was once Tyre Vessel, the realm of the dwarves. So they crept down here and they found ancient, evil places that are a series of interconnected chambers that serve as the watchpost of the Elder Elemental Eye. And this is when they realized they had come to the Fane of the Eye. Alright, everybody, Fane of the Eye, that's the adventure that we are going to look at. It's kind of an interesting place, and there's a lot of stuff crammed into a small area here. And it makes a really cool map that you could pick out of this adventure, put into a homebrew game, and populate as you see fit. So let's go ahead and see how this looks. Alright, the Elder Elemental Eye, I have two pages here. The Fane of the Elemental, or the Fane of the Eye, blah, 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 is a series of chambers that looks like so. And, they're all kind of numbered consecutively, but your party is gonna enter by one of four ways. They're gonna enter either area F1 here, perhaps F15 here, I believe F6 here, or F11 here, and that just depends on whether they come down from which of the four temples they come down from the old city of Tyre Vessel. If you want to think of Tyre Vessel as being a large city, this is kind of like in the center where all four corners of the Tyre Vessel city meet, but this is much further down below where those ruins are. All right, so this area, the lore of this area says that these were here long before the dwarves built their stronghold, and long ago drow exiles devoted to worship of elemental evil built this subterranean shrine to the Elder Elemental Eye. And this is where the four prophets found their elemental weapons that they have now. And this is common ground for the cults, animosities among air, fire, earth, fire, and water set aside, and a wary truce prevails. And the temple complex and the ruins offer four different access points to the Fane. And below the Fane, there are four elemental nodes from which the cults draw their power. So if you want to think of sort of a three-dimensional side view of this, a sort of a vertical view, you have the surface, and you have um, those four strongholds on the surface that kind of are anchor points out beyond the edges of old Tyre Vessel. And then there are tunnels that go down to the level of Tyre Vessel where the actual temples of the current cults exist on the city of Tyre Vessel. Then below the ruins of Tyre Vessel is this Fane of the Elemental Eye that is yet focused kind of in the center of even where Tyre Vessel was. And then below the Fane of the Eye, kind of spreading out again, there are 4 nodes, and each node has a portal that leads to the elemental plane of air, the elemental plane of fire, elemental plane of water, elemental plane of earth. And that is kind of where the climax of this particular adventure happens, is down in one or more of those nodes. That is, if you're playing all the way through it. Most the Fane is mostly caverns, some improved by magical manipulation of the rock. And the northeast portion includes chambers built by the dwarves of Besselmere, so it resembles the stonework of their city. Ceilings are usually about 15 feet above the floor. Dark curtains, clouds of black fog, cold and oily to the touch, cordon off areas of the Fane. Doors are made from stone slabs balanced on central pivots. That's dwarven manufacture. And then light is weird phosphorescent lichen, um, because of its connection to the Underdark. All right, F1 here. I'm not going to detail everything here. I'm just going to kind of go through some of these. This is like the old internal skeleton of a purple worm, and the ribs actually form the stairs going down. And then this is a big pit that goes down to the node of elemental air. You have a trap in here, which is a cyclone. And there's also some dancing weapons in there, so that when the people, when several people get caught in the air, anybody who gets left on the ground and is trying to help, they get attacked by disembodied flying weapons. There's harpies in here, and these harpies will try to lure people up to their ledges, which is about 100 feet high, and then throw them off, and the corpses of their former victims are down here. Um, there's this area F5 here. Let's see. There's a rust monster in there. There's a pit and a rust monster in there, um, that could be bad news for people. And then there's Lizard Folk tribe that is loyal to the Cult of Water that's in this F7. There's a king, if you will. Um, he kind of feels shortchanged by the cult, but he also is skeptical that anybody can overthrow the cult. So uh, this is a potential ally, but only if you can convince him that he really should join you by basically by proving that you have been powerful to overthrow one of the cults already, probably. There's a waterfall down here. I forget. I think it's F8 where it goes down to the um, yeah, where it goes down to the plunging torrents, which is the water node. The F8 right there. It goes down to the plunging torrents. All right, then F9 is a fungal swamp. There is a what is it? A grell? Yes, there's a grell there that will try to attack people. F10. F10 is kind of a little respite here. Foebreaker's Crypt. An ancient dwarf called Foebreaker is here. And there's a dwarven inscription, and if you follow the inscription, anybody that is non-evil will, or any good aligned characters, will gain the benefit of a 5th level aid spell. So, but each character can only get it once per day. So this is kind of a place where maybe they could, rest or do something like that. F11 is the foot of the obelisk that goes up to the Temple of the Black Earth above. F12, there's an abandoned mine. There's also some ghosts of old miners, or not ghosts of old miners, but ghosts of old creatures that came up from the Underdark and attack the miners. And if you defeat the miners, and only if you defeat the miners, then the ghost of this guy here, I'm sorry, you defeat the specters, and only if you defeat the specters, the ghost of this guy here will appear and will point out his magic hammer. But if you don't fight or don't defeat the specters, you cannot find that hammer. So that's a uh, that's a thing there. Um, and then there's some um, strange crystals here, and there's two giants playing a game like tic tac toe, and they will challenge the party to play. And if the party amuses them, okay, they can keep playing. But as soon as the party bores them, they're going to attack. Um, uh, 12, or that was 12. 14 up here is a Minotaur's lair. And the interesting thing about this Minotaur is that this one here um, has been blessed by the elemental prince of fire, so that in addition to being a normal minotaur, he has a what's called an ash breath, which is similar to a fire breath, except it doesn't deal quite as much damage, and it doesn't have, the size of like a dragon's breath. Um, there's two more of them with the fire breath thing in here in F17 and in F16. There are three others who don't yet have that, but a whole bunch of minotaurs you have to fight in this area here in the adventure as it's written. And then this F15 area here, yep, you guessed it, that goes down, down, down to the um, node of fire. All right, and 17. These are ruins left over from the uh, drow, and the design on the floor is our ancient drow summoning circles. And so you can make some checks, and if the checks succeed, you'll recognize them as drow, but you'll also recognize, if you recognize them, you'll also recognize that they are so badly damaged they're not good for summoning anything anymore. So then let's see, F18, there is a tomb of a drow, and in this area, and that might be of interest to your players because up until now they've seen all kinds of evidence of ancient dwarven structures, but ooh, drow magic here. Okay, well, yeah, that is interesting. Okay, now 19, F19. Here's where you get the space alien statue. It doesn't say that it is an illithid, but it certainly sounds like an illithid. In the middle of the chamber is a statue depicting an amorphous body and thick tentacles, hunching over as if to feed. A purple crystal the size of a human head represents one alien eye. Now, could be an illithid, could be like Cthulhu, something like that. Some sort of strange monster. Okay. The idol, yeah, honors Gonadar, a dark god associated with oozes. That crystal is not treasure, it's worthless. But if you're dumb enough to pry that out, it turns the person who pries it out into a gray ooze, or into an ochre jelly. Turns the offender into an ochre jelly. that lacks the split reaction. So, yeah, you get polymorphed. You have to have a greater restoration or remove curse to get rid of that. That's F19, F20. There's a battle going on in here. Actually, it's a place where the cults fight a lot, and there's a guardian in the form of an air elemental myrmidon. And then at 21, you're going to find one of the prophets there. It doesn't matter um, what is going on, you will definitely find one of the prophets. Now, if and the reason you're going to find one is that it specifically says in the adventure that the first time you defeat a temple of elemental evil, the rest of the cult, or not the cultists, the rest of the cult leaders of each of the other three cults, they flee down to the Fane of the Eye. And so you will find one of them here. You may fight others in this complex somewhere, but you will find one of them here. Or you may find one of them here and two others may be down in the nodes. But one of them is in this area um, with some followers waiting to make a sacrifice. And if the party enters, the party may indeed be offered an opportunity to join with that particular cult and uh, would be expected, if they want to join, to sacrifice a commoner that they have all bound and ready for sacrifice. This altar is a really nasty altar if you are non-evil and you touches the altar or make a melee weapon attack against it, you'll take psychic damage, and it is resistant and immune to a whole hell of a lot of damage types. Um, so the elemental uh, cultists cannot be frightened while this altar remains intact. And then here's a list of depending on which one you encounter. Here's a list of the cult leaders and the underlings that are with them. And then the when you defeat whatever cult leader is here, it immediately sets into motion the remaining two um, cult leaders summoning princes of elemental evil down below in the nodes. So you're gonna have two of them to deal with, and that is that will come later in our discussion of the adventure. This Fane of the Eye is billed as a level 10 adventure. And this map right here is, I think, my favorite part about it. Um, there's so much going on here, and there's so many opportunities to take it and turn it into something really different and unique. Now, um, it's got 4 different themes going on in this one map, but you, in a homebrew game, you could easily change that around and make it more unified, or you could just make it a complete random mess. But you see how there's a lot of different ways in and out of here, and then there's these areas um, like F15, F2, F8 over here, uh, where there's passages uh, down to yet more nodes. Now, the interesting thing is that I don't think, unless it's at F13, I don't think there's a direct way to um, get down to the node of elemental earth. So you can get down to water here in F8, down to air here in F2, down to fire in F15. But I don't think there's a way to get down to the the node of elemental earth. So yeah, that is uh, that is the Fane of the Eye as an adventure. All right. Hey, if you have played through the Princes of Elemental Evil, whether you ran it as a DM or whether you played in it as a character, and if you had any experience here in the Fane of the Elemental Eye, I'd love to see information about that in the comments below. What did you think about it? How did that series of encounters go? Did you go there just hunting one particular cultist and just focus on one of the areas and then go on down to the nodes? Or what did you wind up doing? Um, and if you were the DM, what did your players wind up doing? All right, that's going to do it for this week. Uh, Hope you have enjoyed it. If you like what we're doing here on this channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos, click the post notification bell so that you too can be notified every time new content drops on the channel. And with that, I am going to bid you all good night and hope we'll see you next week on Lore Friday. Take care, everybody.